Good afternoon, Prynhound Dark Riser, welcome back. Well, here we are on, what do we call it, to Warhammer Tacticus. Now, for a time I did quite like this game, I admit. I thought it was quite fun and a bit different, and I was quite enjoying it. So this is going to be my final review, because I'm having a bit of a sort of phone clear out. My sort of basic flaw with this game was it gets very, very repetitive. And I know that might sound like an odd thing to say when I'm doing match 4 games, which are obviously inherently almost repetitive. It just goes around in circles, and you sort of, the farming element of it isn't that much fun. It's sort of fine for a brief time, but it's like, you know, to level up these guys, you need to get so many resources. So it's like, oh, I need to get 6 of these. So I go into these and I go, right, okay, so I can get them on this campaign, and I can do raid, bomb, 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 bomb. Oh, now I've got them. All right, there we are. I've got those. That's fine. All right, brilliant. Now I need one of these. Oh, but to get one of these, I need 4 of these. And now, where am I going to get 4 of these from? Right, there's raid. And yeah, it just, you can get hold of the resources without spending money, but it just, the more advanced you get, the more things you need. So, and you know, this is to just level up one element of the character. So leveling up takes a very, very long time and requires a lot of faffing. So that was one of the things I didn't really like about it. In the end, it was just getting a bit, you know, it just got a bit off-putting, really. The guild stuff, didn't really get where that was going, except you could hit a boss. I didn't really talk much with the guild, possibly wasn't in a very active guild, I guess. Well, though they seem to be, you know, they seem to be growing still. You can spend money on things, but I'm not really sure why in a lot of it. And then you can go into it and you can do, so say I do, well, if I did, let's do a salvage zone. The thing is the salvage zone is everyone was basically the same. In fact, all of the raids eventually they just get the same, and it's yeah, there's no real sort of element that changes to it particularly. I found so. You know, it's, oh, I can move. Come on, off you go. So you can move your little men around, and they can go pew 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 and everything else. But there's never any sort of real variety to it. You know, here's this. I mean, this is the trash raid, which is always one of the was always one of the weaker elements. But you know, you're just like, oh, come on, right, you go there, bump, 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 pim, 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 and they just bimble around. Don't really get very much. So, you know, a load of stuff will appear, and I get a load of stuff, but the stuff I'm getting is not that helpful by and large. So I could do so I can do my special skill here, jump in on this guy, and I get my little guys come and help me out. Pew pew pew. It just sort of ceases to be entertaining, I find. It's in my opinion. Yeah, and the best bit was sort of fighting against other players, but again, the trouble was that it all kind of came down to how much. There was no easy way to sort of level up your skills. So it was basically whoever was going to win was just whoever had by far the strongest team. And also that only seemed to be like a small element that sort of only seemed to happen once, really, that you could play live against other players. So yeah, this, you sort of see what I mean. It just doesn't really change terribly much. 2 rounds left, so a load more stuff will appear. Last round, and there we are. My little guys will gather up most of the stuff. So I've gained like quite a few resources, and gold and what have you, but it doesn't really help you very much. So not. So yeah, and also there's no autoplay. I mean, it could do with an autoplay function for some of the levels. I mean, I know it's got the raids element where you can just like repeat play and you get raid tokens and what have you, but it could kind of do with just an autoplay element for some of the missions, so you can just get on with things a bit more quickly. You know, I can claim resources here, but again, most of them don't sort of do a huge amount. It just takes ages to level everyone up. And yeah, it does just get quite repetitive, effectively. So if I go into, right, which one do I want? It is this one. So the campaigns, they were okay. There was a little bit of talking in them, but they get pretty tricky, and you get quite stuck quite fast. Guild raid. So if I do a guild raid, I can, yeah, continue. That's fine. I've got a chest from previous ones. I haven't played this for ages, so bum, 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 bum. Loading. There we are. Continue. Right, that's fine. See, there's all these bits. Some of them are vaguely useful, but probably not. If I go to fight boss, so this is like the guild working together to defeat big bosses. But it's a bit. It's just it just whichever boss you're dealing with, it gets very very samey very very quickly. Here go my little guys. Boom 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 boom. Everybody goes running in. He'll do his thing. Boom. Summon some minions. Don't know. I just thought he was going to summon minions, but he didn't this time. And then you just. But it's this every time. Is you just clicking on it, going click 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 click, and yeah. After a time, I just thought, I'm getting a bit. It just doesn't. It's not very easy to be enthused about it. Just same things again and again and again and again and again. Bong, click, 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 and yeah, that's my biggest problem with it is a lack of variety. It's as simple as that. It could do with more, like the scenery could do with being more interactive in some ways. You could do with when you're taking on other opponents. It just comes down to how strong your team is. And I know that is also largely true in the match 4 games, but there is always an element of skill in using the board. Whereas in this, I just don't really feel like you if you're stronger than them, you're going to win. If you aren't stronger than them, you're going to lose. And there's not really much difference in it other than that. So yeah, but no, I'm not saying it's not. Maybe if you like the grind, it's kind of it is quite fun. I like elements of the the Warhammer types stories. Always fun. The Space Marines and what have you. But I'd just say that it's just not really for me, this one. Having tried it, did enjoy it for a short time, but as I say, just it kind of needed a way to keep it interesting, and I don't think it really did it, or at least it didn't for me. So graphics are quite nice, it all looks quite nice, but yeah, that's the end of this game for me. So it was enjoyable for a time, but that time runs out, and that would be my final review. Anyway, so there we are. I hope that is informative in some way, and it just remains for me to say thank you very much for watching. Goodbye, Hoilvar, and may death come swiftly to your enemies. Goodbye.